It remains a question of, can you do it? Which seems like it might be possible with AI, versus should you do it? Is that a good idea? So let us continue. Predictions of time of death. The predictions from Life to Vec are answers to general questions such as death within 4 years. When the researchers analyze the model's responses, the results are consistent with existing findings within the social sciences. For example, all things being equal, individuals in a leadership position or with high income are more likely to survive, while being male, skilled, or having a mental diagnosis is associated with a higher risk of dying. Life2Vec encodes the data in a large system of vectors, a mathematical structure that organizes the different data. The model decides where to place the data on the time of birth, schooling, education, salary, housing, and health. Quote, what's exciting is to consider human life as a long sequence of events, similar to how a sentence in a language consists of a series of words. This is usually the type of task for which transformer models in AI are used, but in our experiments, we use them to analyze what we call life sequences, i.e., events that have happened in human life. Since Sun Lehman. The researchers behind the article point out that ethical questions surrounding the Life2Vec model, such as protecting sensitive data, privacy, and the role of bias in data. These challenges must be understood more deeply before the model can be used, for example, to assess an individual's risk of contracting a disease or other preventable life events. Quote, the model opens up important positive and negative perspectives to discuss and address politically. Similar technologies for predicting life events and human behavior are already used today inside tech companies that, for example, track our behavior on social networks, profile us extremely accurately, and use these profiles to predict our behavior and influence us. This discussion needs to be part of the democratic conversation so that we consider where technology is taking us and whether this is a development we want. Yeah, can you do it versus should you do it? It's two very different questions, because it may well be possible to do it. That doesn't mean it's a good idea to do it. According to the researchers, the next step would be to incorporate other types of information, such as images or information about our social connections. This use of data opens up a whole new interaction between social and health sciences. I wish they had given more to the ethics of this, because that privacy question is a huge question with this. We already have enough problems with social media companies getting our data and using it in ways that a lot of us would find very, very, very unpleasant to begin with. Goodness. The research project using sequences of life events to predict human lives is based on labor market data and data from the National Patient Registry and Statistics Denmark. You got to try this with other countries because I don't think it's necessarily going to be the same for all countries. But anyway, the data set includes all 6 million Danes. All 6 million people were okay with that? And contains information on income, salary, stipend, job type, industry, social benefits, etc. The health dataset includes records of visits to healthcare professionals or hospitals, diagnosis, patient type, and degree of urgency. The dataset spans from 2008 to 2020, but in several analyses, researchers focus on the 2008 to 2016 period and an age-restricted subset of individuals. So, this is a little bit of background with statistics for those of you who are not familiar. Oftentimes, when you are making a statistical model, what you will attempt to do is what's called cross-validation, meaning you will train the model on one period, use it to predict another, and then move the training period to a different period, and then predict another one again, predict another different period again. All of it within the same time period where you have observational data actually check against. That's called cross-validation. That's fairly common to do in statistical analysis, and fairly common to do in AI-related things too, I would think. A transformer model is an AI deep learning data architecture used to learn about language and other tasks. The models can be trained to understand and generate language. The transformer model is designed to be faster and more efficient than previous models and is often used to train large language models on datasets. So in other words, a transformer model would train something like ChatGPT. A neural network is a computer inspired by the brain and nervous systems of humans and animals. There are many different types of neural networks. Like the brain, a neural network is made up of artificial neurons. These neurons are connected and can send signals to each other. Each neuron receives input from other neurons and then calculates an output on to the other neurons, passed on to the other neurons. A neural network can learn to solve tasks by training on large amounts of data. Neural networks rely on training data to learn and improve their accuracy over time. But once these learning algorithms are fine-tuned for accuracy, they are potent tools in computer science and artificial intelligence that allow us to classify and group data at high speed. One of the most well-known neural networks is Google's search algorithm. So, but I'm going to make a point on this. People forget this. And again, Crowdsource Podcast has a longer thing on this, but to make the point, AI is still a model. It is only as good as the data you provide it. In which case, you might talk about something like what was referred to on the last Crowdsource podcast, which was poisoning, which is to say, I have a picture of a cupcake, but I'm going to give it the tag banana, so every time an AI goes looking for bananas, it's really picking up cupcakes. That kind of thing. I'm borrowing that one from Kieran, credit to him on that. But you get the gist with that. They're only as good as the data they're trained on. And AI has no imagination. It can't think of something wild and crazy that it hasn't been trained on. It can't think beyond that. In fact, matter, it can't think at all. It's really just a predictive thing from a model. But whether or not this is appropriate for use, whether or not this is ethically appropriate, is a totally different question. Unfortunately, it didn't get discussed all that much in here, but I know where I would be with that, in that I don't want that damn AI to have any of my data at all. I really would prefer it to not have any of my data at all. So, but let me know what you think. Would you be interested in having an AI predict how your life is going to go in the next 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, something like that? Would you be interested in predicting that? Having an AI predict that? Let me know what you think. Hit the like button on the way at the door, comment on the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, all that lovely good jazz. Until next time, I'm Adrian. May you stay curious.